Hello everyone, I am Ms.C.KALAIMAGAL, Assistant Professor of English, A.D.M. College for Women, Autonomous, NAGAPATTINAM. Today we are going to see about a poem on killing a tree, Jiv Patel. Jiv Patel poem, we have to just follow this poetic lines. After that I have to give an explanation also this poem. The first stanza, it takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. I have to give that explanation for this stanza. Simple cut does not destroy a tree. A tree grows gradually. It is rooted in the soil. A plant takes nutrition from the soil to grow into a big tree. The tree is firmly bound with the soil. It takes in sunlight, water, and air to grow into a strong trunk and have numerous leaves. And then the second stanza of poem. So hack and chop, but this alone would do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green wings. Miniature bugs which if unchecked will expand again to former size. And this stanza explanations about a human cut and chop the bark of trees into many pieces, but that is not sufficient to destroy the tree. The point of the tree which gets cut gives out safe, just like a human being, and bleeds. Gradually this would heal, and from there new branches started growing again. And the third stanza of poem, know the roots is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied and pulled out, snapped out or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed, the source white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. And this stanza of explanation is, the poet says that in order to kill the tree, it has to be uprooted. One has to separate the tree from the earth which supports it. The roots of the tree blind the tree with the soil in the pit of the earth. From there, the most sensitive and the hidden part of the tree, the roots, have to be detached. The roots are white in color and are damp. The next stanza of the poem is, then the matter of scorching and choking the sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, weathering, and then it is done. Once the tree has been uprooted, then gradually it withers and dries up with the action of heat and wind. The trunk will become brown or twisted and will harden. So finally the tree will die in this way. And this on killing tree in that literary devices, this poem, there is no rhyme scheme if there is in the poem. It is written in three verses. That means there is no rhyme and rhythm also. And enchantment, when one sentence continues into two or more lines. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide sprouting leaves. The most sensitive hidden for years inside the earth. And then this poem, we have to use a metaphor. Metaphor is indirect comparison, and this poem has a leprous hide. That means the uneven color of the surface of the trunk of a tree is compared to the skin of a person suffering from leprosy. And then the bleeding of bark, the shape coming out of the tree where it is cut is compared to the bleeding from the wound in a human's body. And this poem alteration, repetitions of the consonants sound in two or more closely places words. And the bleeding bark means the B sound. And white and wet, it's mean by that W sound. And then repetition, a word or sentence is repeated to lay emphasis on it. And the pulled out is repeated like in the tree, killing tree. And on killing a tree, I have to give that introduction. The poet sensitizes the reader and highlights the fact that trees are living things. He equates a tree with a human to convey that trees should not be cut because it's destroying trees is just like killing a human being. A tree does not die by merely cutting because it regrows from where it is cut. If it has to be destroyed, then it has to be uprooted. And on killing a tree, a poetic explorations of nature, Jude Batel's poignant poem in this On Killing a Tree delves into profound relationship between a human and natural world. It's exploring the process of destruction and the impact it has on both the environment and our understanding of life. And this significance of a tree in our ecosystem. The ecological importance, trees play a vital role in maintaining the health of our planet. They provide oxygen, absorb carbon dioxide and support biodiversity. They also help regulate climate, prevent soil erosion and offer shelter to countless species. And culture and spiritual values. These cultural and spiritual values about the tree, beyond this ecological significance, trees hold a deep culture and spiritual meaning in various societies. They are often seen as symbols of strength, wisdom and longevity, serving as sacred places for contemplation and connections with this nature. The gradual process of trees growth from seeds to sapling. A tree's journey begins as a tiny seed, nurtured by the earth and sunlight over time. It sprouts, develops a root and growing into a sapling reaching towards the sky. The years of growth and maturity. The sapling gradually matures, branching out, strengthening its roots and forming a canopy of leaves. It takes years from a tree to reach its full potential, symbolizing the gradual process of growth and changes. And lifelong contributions of the ecosystem. Once mature, a tree continues the thrive, providing shelter. like in food and oxygen to its surroundings. It becomes a vital part of the ecosystem and it's contributing to the balance and harmony of nature. The poet perspective on killing a tree. The first one is the poem focuses on the act of killing a tree, highlighting the violence inflicted upon a living organism battle. It is used vivid imagery to portray the process of killing a tree. It is emphasizing the pain of that tree. And the second one is Patel's poems raises a question about the ethical implications of killing a tree. He challenges readers to consider the value of life and the consequences of our actions of the natural world. Through the poem, Patel encourages readers to reflect on their own relationship with nature. He promotes us to recognize the interconnectedness as a life and a responsibility we hear towards the convenient in our environment. Metaphorical meaning and destructions of the natural world. First, we have to compare a symbol of life. The tree symbolizes life, growth, and resilience. Its destructions reference the laws of vital part of the natural world. And then the human inventions. The act of killing a tree reflects a human inventions in the natural order. It underscores our power and our responsibility to act with respect for the environment. A warning for the future. The poem serves as a warning about the consequences of unchecked human progress. It highlights the importance of sustainability and preserving the natural world for future generations. Techniques used by humans killing a tree, chainsaw. The most of the common method used for cutting down trees are powerful machines capable of quickly and effectively removing large trees. Witches and rupees used in conjunctions with a saw and axes, witches are driven into the tree to create a space for roots to pull and control the directions of the fall. An axe are traditional tools used for felling rocks requiring physical strength and skill, a mixture laborious process than using a chainsaw. The resilience and the tenacity of a tree. This deep roots, the first one is the deep roots. Trees have deep roots that anchor them to the ground, providing stability and resilience to withstand various challenges. And the second one is adaptability. The trees are remarkably adapted organisms capable of adjusting to changing environments, surviving through a drought, fire and other hardships. Regenerative power. This regenerative power, even when damaged or cut back, trees often possess the ability to regenerate, sprouting new shoots and leaves, demonstrating their tenacity and life forces. And ethical considerations in cutting down trees. Like in the sustainability, the ethical responsibility to ensure that the cutting down of trees is done in a sustainable way, managing resources for future generations. And then this conversation the need to provide construction efforts, protecting valid finance and consist them for their intensive work and the services they provide. Like in the balance, the importance of striking a balance between human needs and the preservation of natural ecosystem, and finding a harmonious relationship with nature. The lasting impact of a tree destruction. The first one is the loss of habitat. Deforestation and disputes ecosystem, depriving and conflicts species of their ancestral lump. In the leading of loss of toxicity and ecosystem. The second one is climate change. Trees play a crucial role in mitigating climate change by absorbing between toxic. Then the destruction contributes to using temperature and move on existent weather events. And this is soil erosion. The soil erosion is the processing and the third. Trees help prevent soil erosion by holding the soil in the place. Deforestation can lead to soil degradation, affecting agriculture and water quality, and preserving and protecting our natural resources. We have to preserving and protecting our forest is essential for the health of our planet and the well-being of future generations. We must advocate for sustainable forestry practices, support conservation efforts, and make conscious calls to reduce our impact on environment. Small summary of On Killing a Tree. On Killing a Tree is a sensitive poem. The poet pursued the reader not to destroy a tree and equates it with killing a human being. He says that a plant takes sunlight, water, air and nutrients from the soil to gradually become a huge tree. It develops a strong trunk and gets numerous leaves. Merely cutting the trunk of the tree does not kill it. When a tree is cut, the sap flows out just like a wounded man bleeds. Once the wound heals, new branches and tiny leaves grow from there, which grow into trees. In order to destroy a tree, it has to be uprooted. The roots, which are white in color and are damp due to the moisture that they get from the soil, are hidden in the earth. These roots are the most sensitive part of the tree as they bind into the earth. In order to kill the tree, these roots have to be detached from the soil. Once the roots are detached, the tree starts dying. It withers, dries up with the action of heat and wind, twists, hardens and finally dies. Can a simple chop of the knife killing tree? And why? Why not? No, a simple chop of the knife cannot killing a tree because the tree grows with a lot of nutrients and resources. Even if once we have to cut it, it will sprout again. The second question is, how has the tree grown to its full size? List the words suggestive of its life and activity. The tree has grown to its full of size by consuming the earth, feeding upon its crust absorbing years of sunlight. It's air and water. The both suggestive of its life and activity are absorbing, feeding, rising and consuming and sprouting. And what is the meaning of a bleeding bark and what makes it bleed? The bleeding bark medicates and then indicates the idea where the tree has been cut, just like a human bleed blood when they get wounded. Trees release a liquid and the place where they are cut, so the tree bleeds. And the poet says, no, in the beginning of the third stanza, what does he mean by this? The poet says, no, in the beginning of the third stanza, it emphasizes that only cutting or chopping the tree will not cease its existence. And what is the meaning of anchoring earth and earth cave? The anchoring earth means that the earth works as an anchor to protect the tree and save it from getting uprooted. Earth cave implies the depth of the mother earth where the tree spreads its roots and gets nutrient position. And what does he mean by the strength of the tree exposed? He means to say that when one tries to pull out the trees along with its roots, which are spread deep inside the earth, one will understand the strength of the tree. What is it that finally kills a tree? When the tree is pulled out along with its roots and separated from the mother earth, one has to subject it to scorching sun and let it weather. This will finally kill the tree. That's it. Thank you. Thank you all.